I used to think feeling off, bloated, scattered, drained was just part of getting older. Like, this is just how it goes. Right. But looking back, most of it came from ignoring the basics: how I eat, how I move, how I care for my body during chaotic seasons. I wasn't trying to be unhealthy. I just didn't have energy left to think about what actually helped. I was in survival mode most days. In this video, I want to quietly walk through a few simple Japanese habits that have made life feel lighter physically and mentally. Nothing extreme, just small grounded shifts that add up. Things I wish I'd learned sooner. No coffee still awake. I used to rely on coffee to wake me up, and then need more coffee just to stay upright by noon. It worked until it didn't. The jittery highs, the sudden crashes. It started messing with my focus more than helping it. That's when I went back to something I grew up around, but never really appreciated: matcha. It's a different kind of caffeine, calmer, steadier. I'll whisk a small cup in the morning or add the powder to a smoothie if I'm in a rush. It gives me that gentle lift, but without the crash or anxious energy. It's also packed with antioxidants, which helps with skin and digestion too. But honestly, I just love how grounded it makes me feel. If coffee leaves you wired or wiped, this might be a quieter switch that works better with your rhythm. A clear start for your senses. Sometimes the real drain in the morning isn't the lack of caffeine, it's the chaos you wake up to. Cluttered counters, harsh lights, too much noise before your brain has even caught up. One quiet habit I picked up from Japan is starting the day with sensory clarity. Not a full routine, just light air and one clean surface. I'll open a window, splash cold water on my face, and clear off the kitchen counter or make the bed. That's it. Even when the rest of the day feels messy, that one small reset tells my brain we've begun. On low-energy mornings, I might light a stick of incense or play a soft ambient track. Just something gentle to mark the shift from night to day. These tiny cues don't just make mornings calmer, they help you carry that calm into whatever comes next. Let's move to the next thing that simplified how I build my meals without tracking or overthinking. A no-math way to eat well. There was a time when planning meals felt overwhelming. I'd either throw random things on a plate and hope it was healthy enough, or get stuck in the same 2 meals on repeat because I didn't have energy to think. Then I remembered something we learned as kids in Japan: Ichiju Sansai. It's a traditional meal layout: 1 soup, 1 main dish, and 2 sides. That's it. It sounds like a lot, but it's more flexible than it seems. For example, a bowl of miso soup, grilled salmon, steamed broccoli, and a few pickled veggies. Done. Or even a simple variation: some rice, leftover soup tofu, and sliced cucumbers. The structure helps take the mental load off. I don't count calories or track macros. I just use the 1 soup, 1 main, 2 sides framework and adjust with whatever I have. It's not about being perfect. It's about having a rhythm that supports you without decision fatigue. A gentle sip that brings you back. When your digestion's off, everything else feels off too. You feel foggy, bloated, uncomfortable, but you can't always tell why. That's when I went back to something I'd heard about for years in Japan: koso. It's a fermented drink made from fruits and vegetables, rich in enzymes that support digestion naturally. No extreme cleanse, no big commitment. Just a gentle habit that helps your body reset itself over time. I usually mix a spoonful into sparkling water first thing in the morning. On days I don't feel like eating yet, it gives me something light but supportive. And when my gut feels good, my skin clears up, my energy evens out, and everything feels a little easier to handle. Gut health doesn't need to be complicated. Sometimes it starts with one simple daily sip. Pause. When you're almost full. When life feels chaotic, it's easy to lose track of when we're actually full. We eat while working, while scrolling, while standing at the counter. Before we know it, we've gone past what our body needed, and we feel it later in the form of bloat, heaviness, or just that dull mental fog. One habit from Japan that helped me reset is called hara hachibu. It means stopping at 80% full on purpose. Not stuffed, not still hungry, just enough. At first, it felt strange. I'd finish eating and think, should I have had a bit more? But then I'd wait 20 minutes, and I always felt fine, better actually. Lighter, more in control, less sluggish in the afternoon. Now I try to pause halfway through a meal and ask myself, do I feel satisfied? If I do, I'll slow down or stop. It's a small shift, but it's helped me stop using food as a buffer when I'm stressed and actually listen to my body again. Next, let's talk about how hydration works differently in Japan and one summer habit that quietly keeps people energized. Cool down with a cold crunch. In Japan, summer isn't just hot, it's heavy. The kind of heat that drains you before noon. And when everything feels sticky and sluggish, it's tempting to reach for something cold and sugary just to get through the day. But what I started doing instead was something I saw everywhere. Back home, chilled cucumbers. On sticks in salads, even just sliced in a bowl of salt water in the fridge. Cucumbers are 96% water, but they also have a lot of potassium and fiber, which helps your body hold on to hydration longer, unlike soda or juice that spikes and crashes. I'll slice a few in the morning and keep them ready to grab when I need a reset. It's small, but it works. Especially on those days where everything feels a little too much, that one cold crunch can bring you back to yourself. 5 quiet minutes to clear your head. When life gets noisy, I don't always need a full reset. I just need 5 quiet minutes. Not to fix everything, but to slow the spin. Most mornings I do a short guided meditation, nothing long, just 5 minutes. I put on headphones, sit on the floor, and let someone else's voice walk me back to center. On days I skip it, I notice I'm more reactive, more scattered. Journaling helps too, but not in a perfect Dear Diary way. I just open a notebook and spill whatever's on my mind, messy, unfiltered, fast. It clears the fog. Some days I go back to that page during lunch or in the evening just to let a bit more out. It doesn't have to be deep. It just has to be honest. This kind of daily check-in keeps me from running on autopilot, especially when things feel emotionally heavy or unpredictable. And next, I want to talk about something that took me a long time to learn how to show up without hiding behind perfection. Being seen, without hiding for years. I wouldn't leave the house without makeup, not because I loved wearing it, but because I didn't feel okay being seen without it. It wasn't really about appearance. It was about safety, control, feeling like I had to present myself a certain way to be accepted. But over time, I started letting go. Not all at once, just on slow days, quiet mornings, quick grocery runs. And something shifted. The pictures I liked most were the ones where I looked like myself, not done up, just present. Now some days I still wear makeup, some days I don't, but I'm not hiding anymore. And that's made a bigger difference than any product ever could. It's also why I take sun care seriously, not as a beauty tip, but as something that supports me long term. That's what we'll talk about next. Sunscreen, like brushing your teeth. One thing I noticed growing up in Japan is that sunscreen isn't seen as optional. It's not just for beach days or beauty routines. It's something most women apply every single morning, like brushing their teeth. Even in middle school, I remember girls carrying little sunscreen tubes in their bags. Not for looks, but because taking care of your skin was part of taking care of yourself. It wasn't framed as vanity, it was just normal. Now that I'm older, I get it. Sun protection isn't about chasing perfect skin. It's about consistency. I still wear sunscreen daily, even if I'm home all day. My favorite ones are lightweight, blend easily, and don't irritate sensitive skin. They don't feel like a chore. They feel like a way of showing up for myself quietly. Some days, that's the only thing I do for my appearance, and honestly, that's enough. Let your hands calm your mind. When I'm stressed or overwhelmed, I tend to either shut down or distract myself with screens. But somehow, that never really clears the noise. It just postpones it. Something I've noticed in Japanese culture is how people use simple physical tasks like washing rice, sweeping the floor, folding clothes, as a kind of reset. It's not about being productive. It's about grounding the mind through the body. Now, when my head feels messy, I try to do something with my hands. I'll rinse vegetables, slowly, wipe down the counter, tidy up a drawer. Not to get things done, but because the rhythm of it helps me come back to the moment. Last week, I was anxious about something I couldn't control. Instead of spiraling, I made a pot of rice, measured it, rinsed it thoroughly, waited for it to steam. By the time I sat down to eat, my mind had softened too. Sometimes, the quietest forms of care aren't in your head. They're in your hands. Cooler rooms, calmer mind. There were summer days when no fan felt strong enough, when the heat felt like it was clinging to the walls. And what made it worse wasn't the weather, it was the clutter. In Japan, many homes shift subtly between seasons. Heavy rugs are stored away. Dark fabrics get replaced by light cotton. Decorations are simplified. It's not a big makeover, just a quiet way of saying, summer is here, let the room breathe too. Now, every June I do a small seasonal reset. I pack away anything that feels visually heavy, extra cushions, thick throws, even decorative pieces I love, but don't need. The room instantly feels cooler, lighter, easier to rest in. It's not about style. It's about creating space where your body doesn't have to work as hard to relax. And when your home feels lighter, so do you. Let your hands calm your mind. Sometimes I'd finish a long day feeling stiff, swollen, or just off, but nothing was wrong enough to fix. I just didn't feel right in my body. What helped wasn't a big workout plan. It was walking. Daily intentional walking, not as exercise, but as maintenance. In Japan, walking isn't a special activity. It's built into the day. To the store, to the station, around the block after dinner. Now I try to walk at least 20 minutes a day, even if it's broken up into small chunks. I treat it like brushing my teeth. It keeps things moving physically and mentally. Especially on heavy days, it helps me reset without needing motivation or a full routine. I'll often take a loop around my neighborhood after lunch without headphones, just to decompress before heading back into work. It's not about steps, it's about rhythm. And when you build in these low-effort habits, it's easier to trust that your body is being taken care of even on the hard days. Slow evenings, better mornings. For a long time, my evenings felt rushed or scattered. I'd finish the day scroll through my phone, maybe snack too late, and then wonder why I couldn't sleep well or felt tense the next morning. In Japan, winding down is intentional. There's this cultural rhythm where evenings are quieter, slower, and centered on preparing the body for rest. It's not about having a perfect nighttime routine, it's about letting the day close gently. Now I try to follow that spirit. I dim the lights early, put my phone away after dinner, and sometimes just sit with warm tea, no screen, no task. Some nights I'll write down 3 things I noticed or appreciated that day. That's it. No pressure, just presence. Lately I've been setting a reminder at 8:30 to shift down. I turn off overhead lights, play ambient music, and do something simple, like folding laundry or prepping tomorrow's outfit. It's not a ritual. It's just how I tell my body, we're safe. You can let go now. And when I treat evenings as a gentle landing instead of a crash, my sleep improves, my mornings feel calmer, and I don't wake up already behind. These small habits I've picked up from Japanese culture don't fix everything, but they make daily life feel a little lighter, a little calmer. When things get chaotic, it's often the quietest shifts that help the most: eating with more awareness, caring for your body without overthinking it, and building routines that support you in the background. If even one of these ideas made something click for you, I hope it brings more ease into your day. And if this kind of content feels helpful, feel free to like or subscribe. It helps me keep making videos that meet you where you are.